Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and goodbye. uh, Today I want to talk a little bit into frustration. Uh, when I experience frustration, it's usually that uh, things are not going my way. Things are not going the way I expected, or the way I preferred, or the way I wanted. But all these things, who created these expectations? Who is it that wanted something to happen, that needed something to happen? For example, just now I saw a woman enter the garden here. She offers her coffee. She's looking for a place to sit. She looks at me. She says hi. And I could clearly sense that she actually wanted to sit where I'm sitting here. But she didn't ask. Now, it could very well be that I'm wrong, uh, that my mind is creating this story. It could also be that I did what I picked up was something similar, but my mind created this story that she actually wanted to sit here. So she was looking and looking and looking, and then finally found a place to sit. Ordered a coffee, got her coffee, sit down, moved, I think, 2 times. But yeah, the other places here, you cannot clearly sit in the shade unless you sit right next to the right next to the restaurant. There's two four-seaters where you can sit in the shade, but there's music over there. So maybe, she wanted silence because, and this is the story I'm creating right now. It might be true, it might not be true, it might be very similar or not at all. But yeah, as soon as she finished the coffee, she moved. She took the scooter and gone because yeah, I started recording my videos here, so I was here talking. And if she is someone looking for quiet, sitting here in the garden, which is a nice place, but it's next to the road. Yeah, I've experienced this before with my ex-girlfriend. Her ears were so sensitive that she could not stand any kind of noise, and especially like machinery, because these noises are loud. And the weird thing was, in the night, when the frogs started, and the frogs and the toads, they started doing their things, especially after rain. It was loud. The jungle was loud. The rice fields were loud. But she was okay with it. And this is, yeah, how I see it. Her mind created, I don't like the sound of machinery. I think she was just overwhelmed. She was afraid there was something wrong with her ears, with her hearing, and it would be permanent. And so any new impulses was, you know, pushing the fear button. Danger, danger. So she got frustrated with machinery noises. And yeah, I've spoken about this before. How she is somewhat of a yeah good manifester. So wherever we went, I think it was in 23 or 24. Yeah, 23, 23 and 24. Wherever we went, there was, even in the most remote places you could find, suddenly there was some sort of machinery noise. I mean, if you realize that you create your own reality, and she realizing, I created this myself. If you're a powerful manifester, you don't realize this usually, because yeah, we think we cannot control reality. Reality is happening to us, not through us, but to us. The victim state, or yeah, you can call it whatever you want. But me tagging along everywhere, at some point, even I got annoyed by noises, not by the noises itself, but her reaction to the noises. Because, yeah, when she went into this negative state, this angry state, I was, wary. I was on guard. I was like, what's happening? And yeah, me playing the caretaker role. Yeah, I need to fix this. I need to fix this. But I couldn't fix it. I could only fix it by, leaving this place together with her. So, uh, yeah, frustration to me, it's the ego that had expectations. It wants control over reality, but it doesn't realize it's creating this reality itself out of fear, usually. And yeah, once again, this is a perspective, this is my perspective, this is the way I look at these things. Doesn't mean you have to look at this the same. No, I'm just sharing, the way I look at it. So, what do I do when I notice frustration? First of all, I step out of the frustration, or uh, I zoom out of the frustration. I zoom out of the person. So, me, the person, uh, ego included, mind, all these things, body, mind, it's all part of that, the avatar, who we think we are. I tune out from it, and as soon as I tune out, I can still uh, feel or sense what is happening to Jeroen, what it's going through. But because I'm no longer in it, I can then tune out and see what caused it, and not to resolve it. This is, to me, very important. Yeah, I don't tune out to find the fix for it. No, because then you're not really tuned out, right? If you tune out with a goal, with a purpose, from the need, I need to fix this, then you're not really tuned out. That's the ego creating the illusion, playing the role of the observer. Yeah, I'm observing this, and so I know the frustration is coming from the sound, so I'm gonna fix it by going away. Well, then you'll be running away from sound all the time, which, yeah, I experienced with her for 2 years. but it's the nervous system, right? The um, first there's the fear, and we're not aware of it. This happens unconsciously, and the nervous system, it goes in this high alert state. Adrenaline and some other hormones rushing through your system, and yeah, you go into this fight, flight, or freeze, fawn, and there's I think one more to to change the situation, to regain control. But what do? I tune out of the whole system that wants control, and then I I'm just open to sense whatever it is that I'm sensing. And usually, then I notice um, how the mind created a story. Yeah, when she took the guitar, when she left, and to those new to the channel, I went through a breakup in the last couple of months, and we were staying together in one place. And at some point, she decided to move out and move to some place. She didn't communicate with me for a long time. Still doesn't. Block me on WhatsApp and such. And she took the guitar that we bought together. And I was actually kind of pissed off about it. Why? Well, first of all, uh, we bought the guitar together. I pay for it because, yeah, in my reality, I feel like I have a little bit more money than she has every month, so I used to pay a little bit more. We had the agreement to split the bill 50-50 every month, but I was at some point I was done doing administration every month, like, you know, receipts and no, no, no. Just combine our income and spend it. And yeah, we were never without money. Money was never the problem. That's one of my mantras. Money is never the problem. It's a good mantra. I was mainly irritated that she did not she she no longer communicated with me. Had she come to me, listen, I'm gonna move out, and can I take the guitar? Then I would have said probably, uh, well, are you really gonna play it? Because you hardly ever play guitar, and yeah, I play guitar not every day, but at least a couple of times a week, more often. This is how we negotiate. Because that's what we do in relationships. It's most relationships are about, yeah, who is in control. Are you gonna change so I don't have to change, or do I need to change in the hope that you will change? It's such a weird thing, relationships. Even when we said, yeah, no, we're just friends. Yeah, friends without benefits. There's way more behind this story, but yeah, maybe I will share it soon because I had some new insights now that it's been a while, and I'm reviewing my experience with her. Recreating, yeah, sharp. So, yeah, first of all, the moment I noticed that she took the guitar, it was not just the guitar. No, it was her not talking to me anymore. Because, um, yeah, that made me feel, it made my person feel insecure. My body mind ego complex, it wants also control by knowing the other, knowing what they're gonna do, knowing where they're gonna move. So her giving me the silent treatment, yeah, that's ego versus ego. I'm giving you the silent treatment. Yeah, I feel insecure. Please give me feedback. Give me consolation. Give me a confirmation. Uh, so I noticed the whole dynamic that was underneath all of this, the story behind the story. On the surface level, the story was she is taking my guitar, and when I expressed it to her, she said, "Yeah, it's my guitar also." No, it's not your guitar. My mind argued, "No, it's not your guitar," and then her mind argued, "Yeah, but it's not your guitar either." No, that's not my point. It's our guitar. So in my reality, the way I live life, I expect life to be is, yeah, when you buy something together, then you both have right ownership. That's the surface level story. But when I tuned out of the surface level story and saw the story behind the story, I was just, there was sadness and loneliness and fear, and she's leaving, and what am I now to do? And yeah, my reality was, I could even say, for a long time, like 90% focused on her, taking care of her. She had to be okay, and this is my trauma. This started at an early age with my mother and my dad dying when I was around 3 years old, and I had to. I stepped into the role of the father figure, of the man of the house. Me being the firstborn, now suddenly I was the man of the house. In a family constellation, they call this boxes. So the man of the house is box one. Then the man of the house, the father is box one. The woman or the mother is box two, and the firstborn is box three. So when my dad died, and you know, this is probably part of my soul blueprint. I stepped into box one, and I was in box one pretty much all my life until I did uh, some therapy and all these things, and family constellation, where I could finally say goodbye to my biological deceased father. Energetically, big release, and I could step into my yeah the firstborn box again, box three, and the whole dynamic with me and her changed because I was no longer playing the father role or the caretaker, and yeah, then she experienced this the abandonment wound because her father basically abandoned her. She doesn't see it like this, but yeah, it's the way I see it. Our whole dynamic changed when I stepped into box three. I remember even not talking with my mom for a long time, and I think this was the day of the family constellation or the day after. She texted me, and because I did not respond, the next day she called me, and we hadn't spoken for a long time. I guess she could clearly feel something changed in the field. And yeah, this is probably what I learned from her, the need of controlling things. I need to know. I need to know your situation. If because if you're not okay, I cannot be okay. I need you to be okay, so I can be okay. Yeah, I spoke of this before, and I think it was the daily life reports. Doesn't really matter. Um, it was a huge insight when I noticed this program running in the background. I can only be okay if everybody around me is okay. So this is the caretaker role. Uh, yeah, you can easily find the video. It's called something with the caretaker. I was processing these kind of things in that period. So her not talking to me, taking the guitar, and then the frustration was not about the guitar actually. The frustration was just an expression of I'm actually not okay with this situation. But I did not speak up. I did not tell her, listen, you can give me the silent treatment, but it doesn't feel right to me. So um, can we come to some sort of agreement, or and that also might be also a way of trying to control the situation again. This is why we get stuck in these loops, in these stories. Huh? I noticed the story, the superficial, the upper layer um, of the frustration of her taking the guitar. I tuned out from it, and I saw the story behind the story of, yeah, I actually don't like how she's treating me. I don't like this situation. And then I noticed what is underneath that is like, how am I gonna survive without her? Who am I gonna be without her? Because, and that's what I'm slowly start to notice now. Well, now that we are apart, and I'm reviewing what happened, and now these little, yeah, these things that were always there, but when you're in it, you don't see it. And now I'm out of it. I start to notice these things like, oh, so I pretty much based my whole beingness on her, taking care of her, being there for her, and I could no longer be there for her. Yeah, the biggest insight I had at that time was a friend asking me, "Can you be okay uh, with her not being okay and not asking for your help?" Because yeah, he just revealed the caretaker role that I was still playing. I was still hanging on for dear life. But because who am I without her? So step by step, I and yeah, I just want to explain this the best way I can. In yeah, hopefully it's helping you somehow, which is also a role I'm playing still. I realize this, which is fine. It's part of this channel. Tuned out from the frustration, saw the story of the story that was the frustration itself, the irritation. That was one story. I tuned out. Then I saw the story behind the story. Ah, I need her. I need her. I need her. I need her. I need her to be me. I need validation. I need all these things that I need. And then I also tune out from that story, because when I'm in that story, then still there's, trying to hold on to things, trying to understand it, trying to make sense of it. Tune out from also that story. And then I could finally feel the grief, the sadness, the loneliness, the attachments, the uh, the inner child, lots of other stories been popping up since I tuned out from those stories. How do you, so this story, the superficial story, the frustration, irritation, then this story, the needing her, and tuning out from that, I could I could really feel all of it. Like, listen, this is part of your humanness in this lifetime. And then that's how I operate. I became aware of this part of the soul blueprint. Before incarnation, I made an agreement with her. Uh, we're gonna meet each other. We're gonna go through deep stuff, codependency, the abandonment wound, and self worth. And the parent child dynamic. Because, yeah, with so many of us, that's. Yeah, that field is like totally distorted, one could say. Or, yeah, we as a collective created this construct, this matrix, over the centuries, so the soul could have certain uh, experiences. Sometimes we say lessons to learn. That's another way of expressing it. The way I see it is that uh, we are here to experience what, yeah, what this reality is all about. Yeah, as you notice, maybe um, I'm in several stages, in several realities at the same time, several levels, one could even say. Uh, I express it as the 3D, 4D, and 5D, the third dimension, which is duality, seeing things black or white. Then the 4D reality, you add neutrality, you get to see like, it's all a spectrum. And there, um, yeah, usually when I uh, tune into the 4D spectrum, which is just a band frequency bandwidth, there there are the stories behind the stories. And then I also tune into the 5D frequency bandwidth, and from that bandwidth, one could say this is the I am state or the observer. But yeah, like I'm explaining in the last couple of videos, that even also that is even just a story, because you are not the I am. You can use the inquiry method for this. to ask the question without answering it. Who is aware of? So who is aware of the I am? There's there's some awareness being aware of the I am. So you are not the I am. Otherwise you could not be aware of it. Yeah, this is the inquiry method, and I use it as a tool. And yeah, and of course I'm in general aware of any form of bypass. I notice bypassing when I'm looking for distraction. uh, Smoking is to me a habit, a joy. I no longer call it uh, an addiction, because tied to the addiction is a whole story that, yeah, I no, that story is not relevant to me. But I do know that sometimes when I'm looking for distraction, I go out and have a smoke. It's yeah, or yeah, people scrolling on their phone, or jerking off, or making a fight, or go do some meditation. It's the human doing, and we're slowly, possibly slowly moving from human doing to human being. So me as a human being, I'm aware of the stories behind the stories, and even the stories that whole collective. Um, so why do I find it difficult sometimes to speak about these things? Because uh, we can only use pointers to point at things. Because as soon as you label it, or you uh, give a word to it, then you're in it again. I guess some of you know what I mean. Hmm. Okay. One thing I want to add, I feel like adding to the end of this video. I noticed that while shift happens, collection, my latest videos, they're slowly moving towards once shift happened. So I made a new playlist, uh, and it might, I'm not sure yet how this is going to develop, but I feel like while shift happens is me sharing while shift is happening, while shifts are happening, but I also feel that I'm slowly talking into once the shifts have happened, what then? Yeah, we humans, we love control. We The way I see it, I there's this deep desire to make sense of this, because what else are we doing here? These silly games that we play, these wonderful silly games that we play. What's the purpose? Yeah. So what if there's no purpose? What if all of this is just the divine being, the divine supreme being experiencing itself in all possible versions? It's a nice story. Yeah, I guess we just love stories. Some way of making sense of all of this, because yeah, what else is there? Just being? Yes, that's next level. Just being. So just be today. Cheers.